So this week we're going to talk about two topics in class. We're going to talk about sampling and we're going to talk about single subject design. So as you are going through your reading for this week, I hope that you'll look at the single subject design stuff in particular and think that this is the one of the most common uses for single subject design in social work research is that practitioners can use single subject design to evaluate the work that you are doing with a client or community or whatever the client system is that you're working with. So I'm hoping that you'll read that info and think a little bit about how you might apply that to your practice. The sampling content that you're going to get this week can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot to sampling. The important thing to really focus on are the differences between probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So probability sampling is sampling where there's an equal opportunity for every potential person who might be included in the study to get included. And so random sampling is the most common kind of that, which essentially is the idea that anybody who might be in my study, I would put all their names in a hat and then pull the names out at random, right? And that's random sampling. And there are some other more fancy ways of doing random sampling and probability sampling, but that if you think about that, that's the key to probability sampling. Non-probability sampling is where all of the potential people in my study don't have an equal chance of being involved. So if I'm really interested in studying social work students and I study my students who are in my class, I study you all, not every social work student in the country has an equal opportunity of being in that study. And so that's a non-probability sample. We call that a convenience sample because it's convenient for me to study you all. So as you're going through sampling, again, you're going to get a lot of terminology. I would probably recommend that you make a list of the terms in this chapter. And if there's any that are really just not working for you and you have a question about reach out and I'll be happy to let you know. So your assignments for this week are the sampling chapter in the book and the single subject design chapter in the book. If you have the most recent edition, that's chapters 9 and 10. And if you have the older edition, it's chapters 11 and 12, but it's pretty much exactly the same content in both. There's also a video about sampling on Blackboard for you. It's about 8 minutes long. It's really fast. And again, because this can get just a little bit technical in how we talk about sampling, I really highly recommend it. I think it's a good resource for you. Your assignments for this week are that we have a discussion post around single subject design. You have a quiz for each of those chapters. And also, if you haven't gotten a go ahead from me from last week's discussion about measurement, now is a good time to go back and check on the measurement discussion and make sure that that's all taken care of. The other thing I just want to highlight is that next week your first draft of your lit review is due. And that's a first draft that you are going to submit, and then you're going to have some opportunity to review a classmate's draft and give them some feedback. If you have not had the opportunity to work in this way before where you submit a draft in advance of a final paper, although I think you all have done that in your policy class and maybe other places, know that the point of this is not that you're expected to turn in a final, polished, beautiful paper, but this is really your opportunity to start to put the ideas we've been talking about in all of these worksheets, to start to put them all together in one place, particularly in terms of the synthesis worksheet that you did last week, and start to take those and turn that into a paper, and to make sure that you have enough articles to really answer the question that you're asking. If you have some time this week, it might be good to get started on that. It'll be due by the end of the week next week. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's coming up in the future. And depending on what next week looks like for you, if you've got more free time this week than you do next week, now might be a better time to work on that. So the single subject design is due by Wednesday. The quizzes are due by the end of the week. Checking back on the measurement discussion from last week, you can do it at any point, but it needs to be finished by the end of this week so we can move on. And that lit review is due Sunday of next week, right? So it's due in 13 days from today. Whew, good math. If you've got any questions, let me know. I am going to dig through my sampling resources and see if there's some more that I could put up that would be helpful. And if I find something good, I will do that over the course of the week. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. And I am looking forward to reading your single subject design discussions and moving on to the next phase. All right. Have a good week. Take care. Bye-bye.